Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped using lady-scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like...
The media is everywhere, and even more accessible now than ever before, whether that be television, radio, or social media. Plenty of companies have noticed the impact that media can have, and some companies will hire media marketing executives to help them advertise and get their name and brand out there. These marketing executives listen to what the client is looking for and what they are hoping to achieve, and then they work hard to make that vision a reality. There are lots of cogs working to ensure the company gets the best advertisement for their brand, and every role is important.
Every single job is just as important as the other. Whether you're actually doing teleprompter or audio, or if you're the sales guy who's helping fund the project, or if you are the person who's hosting, everybody is an equal.
One of the roles that goes into making a good ad for a brand is in the writing.
Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
Writing is a big tool and is very important in making sure the company is getting their brand presented in the best possible way. In order to achieve this, there will be a creative writer as part of the marketing team, and it is their job to listen to the client and identify exactly what their brand is so they can present it out into the public in a way that will resonate with people. Clients always have an idea of what they want their brand to say, but what they don't always understand is how to say it in a way that captures people's attention, especially in a media outlet like radio. In radio, things have to be to the point or your audience gets bored. So it is the creative writer's jobs to make the company or client stand out.
Clients will give you a lot of information that they think is important, but to a radio listener isn't. Like, we've been in the business for 10 years. We've got great staff, we're committed to quality, and I usually counter with, well, no one is going to tell you the opposite.
People are on social media all the time, and brands have realized that the best way for them to advertise is through social media platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Digital marketing is one of the best ways for brands to market. Digital media is all sold based off of impressions. What that means is basically how many people have viewed the ad. If it has 5 views, it then has 5 impressions. And there's a lot of advantage in digital marketing.
Advantage to digital media is that it's super trackable. When it is, you can tell click-through rates. You can give beautiful wrap reports at the end of campaigns to show how it may have affected their...
Another popular way companies like to advertise their brand is through television commercials. Marketing executives use an algorithm and math to determine their audience sizes, and so it isn't as fluid as, say, digital. And digital marketing has its benefits and its rewards, but then so does television. Television commercials have been around for decades, back before TV even had color. Many people say television commercials will die out with the rise of digital, but that just isn't the case. Television commercials can make people feel things emotionally that digital ads just can't.
Television is a super powerful medium, and it always will be, because there's nothing that will capture you more than a long form video that's done properly. And it's just true. Even if, like, they say that the attention span of an adult nowadays is like around 8 seconds. If a video is done properly, you'll watch the entire thing. You can be in tears, halfway through it. Then you can be like laughing at the very end. It's hard to do that with a digital static ad.
The different avenues of advertising often gel together. For example, in most cases, if a company is paying for a TV commercial, they wouldn't be against the idea of also airing that commercial on the radio, or maybe putting up a billboard as well. It's about creating consistency between the ads. Every platform has its positives and negatives, and so for a company getting its brand and ad out on all platforms, it's the best method for success.
Sometimes if I deal with a television client and the commercial's done right, I can literally just strip the audio and put it on air on radio, and it works beautifully. And then we try to create that kind of consistency between all of the ads. And you'll notice that too, like if you start hearing a campaign and you know that they're on radio and television, look for the continuity between those.
Marketing is an important part of a company's budget. While larger companies spend just under 3%, smaller companies spend nearly 7% of their budget towards marketing to try to set themselves apart. And how they do that is through market research, which is the toolbox that marketing executives use in order to figure out a client's demographic and how to market to said demographic. From surveys, which happen to be the most commonly used, to observation, but sometimes a simple conversation is all that is required for a company to really get the most of its campaign.
The way that we do that is we can track if I have a client and they're willing to give us access to their Google Analytics and their Facebook Analytics, we can track their traffic to the site before we start a campaign. Then we can capture all of the traffic during the campaign and see if there's any lift. And if there is a lift, generally it's because of the radio or television campaign, especially if the customer isn't doing anything else in the market at the time. So then they really know what's driving the traffic.
A lot of people complain about advertisements, and they are commonly deemed as annoying, and yet we consume them daily without even realizing it. Whenever you watch a YouTube video, you often end up skipping ads, and sometimes you won't be able to skip, and so you will just end up watching them. So you can get back to your video, and sometimes there will be ads in the video itself, and it will be so subtle that you won't even notice. Marketing teams focus on making sure the ads are easy to consume, and they work hard on making sure the ad isn't the most annoying thing ever. But sometimes it does work to lean into the annoying factor of the ads just a little bit to make them more memorable.
And so, is it annoying when somebody interrupts your favorite show? Sure, but it's annoying when somebody interrupts me from a great conversation too. You know what I mean? And so, is it on marketers to become more creative in ways to get their products and get their stuff through to people without annoying them? That's all we try to do every day. That's all I try to do every day. And one approach though is to have a really funny commercial, super short shelf life, and just hit the frequency so hard that it becomes annoying. But it works. Everybody knows the Spence Diamond commercial.
Joy.
To sum up, ads are everywhere in our day-to-day life. Some we notice and some we don't because of how subtle they are. And there's a lot of time and energy that goes into making them work effectively. There are many ways that companies can advertise from. All these platforms have their own ways of being successful, and companies will derive the most success for their ads if they keep consistency between them. This has been The Science of Commercials. I'm Daniel Siemens.
And I'm Amy Prentice.